Welcome to the studio. Who's ready for some spring crafts or even some Easter crafts? Today we are going to be making 3 different crafts that are perfect for spring and actually all perfect for Easter vignettes or even spring vignettes. We're making some nests, we're decorating some eggs, and how about some candy bags for Easter? And we're going to make several nests, but we're just going to make one live. And I know I have some strange ingredients here. I have a tuna can, I have a can of plastic container of Elmer's glue, and I have some Spanish moss. And also my husband was nice enough to go out and get me a whole bunch of different, some of these are really awesome and they'll look really cool in our nest. So I'm going to make a nest. So the first thing I do is I'm going to put my 1/3 a cup of water in my big bowl. And you do get your fingers messy in this project. So I use 1/3 a cup of water and 2/3 a cup of glue. This is a hands-on project. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my Spanish moss and I'm going to start breaking it up into little pieces. I just tease it out into my bowl. What this does, it makes a really tight little nest, and it makes a nest that's not going to fall apart. You can have it for a lot of years. I have several from years ago. And just keep teasing it, and then you can spin it around a little bit, mix it all in. And I'm going to put some more in there. And you're going to get some sticks, and I would save the sticks till the end. So what I want to do now is get this all mixed in. And I do not know the amount that I'm using. I just keep doing it until it all gets covered with the glue mixture. Then I'm going to take some of this really fun stuff and break it up. Or I might have to get scissors to cut it up. But I'm going to put some of this in there. So this is going to make at least 2 really tiny little nests. And this is my mold. At this point, you want to just continue shaping that little nest, really pushing the bottom out so that you have a place to really put your little eggs in. Add a little bit more. The glue mixture takes a while to dry, but when it does dry, your nest is going to be totally solid. You will not have all little pieces falling off all the time, but it gets really nice and solid. I put my nests on a tray on some parchment sheet on a parchment sheet and actually put it in the oven at 150 degrees, and I actually move it every 5 minutes. I flip it over so that the glue on the bottom isn't sticking and that it's getting thoroughly dry. You want to really make sure that these nests are thoroughly dry before you start using them. It's a natural product and you want it to be dry. I really like adding just a little bit of this lime green reindeer moss. It just makes it look so much more natural. Now that my little nests are just about totally dry, it's still a little damp in there, but I'm just gonna hit it with a blow dryer. But they are pretty solid. A little crunchy, but pretty solid. I need to make some eggs. So I'm using IOD air dry clay, and I need them to be pretty tiny. So that is all I'm gonna do. I am just gonna shape these like little eggs. I purchased this bucket of eggs a couple years ago, actually, at Joann Fabrics during their end of their clearance sale on Easter products. I will link a similar egg, actually, a little sturdier egg, in the description on my Amazon store. But I really like to use these full size eggs because they are so realistic looking when they're done. First thing I did is they're kind of a super smooth surface, and I put a bonding primer on it to make sure that my paint was going to stick. So painted one side, put it in the egg carton, and then painted the other side. Next step, I wanted to decoupage these bunnies on. So I kind of want to have a circle. So what I am doing is going around each one with a artist brush and some water so that I can get the exact shape that I want. Sometimes I just tear them without putting water on them, but this time I wanted to try to really control how round I got them. And once I had it all set, and it was time to decoupage, and I am simply using a matte decoupage medium. So for the blue eggs, I actually overlapped the edges so they kind of had a wrinkle on them. And later on, you'll see I'm going to really kind of make little snips in my papers so that my motif is a little flatter and there aren't as many wrinkles. The next thing I did with the blue ones is I wanted a little texture in the back. So I took 3D powder, which is also a Pentart product, and I'm just dabbing a little bit here and there. I didn't want the whole thing to have texture, just a little bit here and there, kind of like an egg that had a little bit of texture to it. So I dip it in the paint, and then I take a little bit of the 3D powder, and I just finish my whole egg like that. So I did a dozen eggs. I did 6 with the blue, and then after the blue ones dried, then I did 6 pink ones, and I did them a little bit different. And I'm going to be using the Easter greetings paper, and I'm going to decoupage on that, and then I'm going to do a finish around it. So first thing first, let's get that paper, and I'm just tearing it so I have a bit of a ragged edge. And this is an ITD paper. It is, I would say 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 or 10, depending on where you cut them. Little vintage Easter designs. I'm going to be using this little chick. And I'm going to put this little design, which is actually pretty big, in the center of this egg. But as you can see, it's going to have lots of wrinkles. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to make little cuts all around it. And then I'm going to overlap it so it lays a little smooth. And that way I can concentrate on no wrinkles around the little chicken there. Okay, so here we go. And I am just using Decoupage Medium from Pentart. And I'm using the matte. And then I'm gonna just pop this little guy right here. And see there where that little thing is? Little tab. I'm gonna go ahead and lay that down and then go around. Pretty flat there. Let's see about this big spot up here. Pull that one down a little bit, overlap there. Move out the wrinkles, do the same thing here. That one down. And here's our little chicken, little chick with very little wrinkles on him. And then we're just gonna let him dry. So I want to add a little glitter. This one's all dry. And what I did for the paint texture on a few of these eggs is I mixed the paint with superfine 3D powder, and it gives you this really nice texture. But now what I want to do is I'm going to use this Pentart, and this is a rainbow glitter pen, and I want to put little dots of glitter all around once they're dried. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to put a little glitter just in those flowers, just a little. So the glitter pen only is going to give me just a little glitter. And I don't want it to be blobby. I want it to be spread out. And I like the rainbow glitter. It really is like an iridescent glitter. And you can get that on our website, along with this paper. So there's my pink eggs. Here's the blue ones that I did earlier. So I have pink ones and blue ones. And here's the one I just finished that isn't quite dry yet. So those are all the different things that I do to create these eggs. Our next little Easter craft is these little jelly bean bags. And they are just little drawstring bags, and I'll put a link to them in the description, but they just muslin bags with little drawstrings, and we're gonna fill them up with another little bag, a plastic bag with jelly beans in it. So to do these bags, the first thing I do, because I'm decoupaging them, is I use a fabric medium, and this is fabric medium from Pentart. I put a little plastic of some kind inside the bag because these are a little thin, even though they're my favorite bags because they have a great pull string from both sides. They're thinner than most of the other bags, so you want to make sure you have something inside so that when you don't glue the two sides together. And then I am just going to paint on a coat of fabric medium, and I'm going to let that dry. And that's just going to seal the bag for my decoupage. Blow dryer in there and dry it the rest of the way. So I have these three that are all ready to go. So I have a piece of thin mount in each one so that, again, I don't glue the whole bag together. And I'm going to use the adorable little chicks. It's kind of a vintage setting with little chicks and little forget-me-nots. And I have some left, so I'm going to use these. And this guy is just a little too big, so we're going to have to split these up. And I'm tearing them. You see, you get a ragged edge, and it's almost like they're made out of, the rice paper has fibers in it like fabric would. So they actually decoupage onto fabric really well. So we'll start with this one. And again, I'm starting by putting the fabric, decoupage fabric medium on my bag again. And I do have a plastic sheet inside of there. And I'm going to take these guys, let's see how, so they go a little further over. I gotta put a little bit of glue over there. So, and then I'm also gonna put glue on the back of them. This is fabric medium for decoupage, and what it does is it keeps the fabric soft. Whereas if you just used decoupage glue and varnish, this would get very hard. And then when you put your decoupage on it, it would crack. So. You want to favor the bottom of the bag so that when you pull it tight, you can still see the whole design. And here they are. Little gift bags for Easter. And that wraps up our first spring and Easter crafting time. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.